Good morning, all you bagel huffers. It's your boy Tone 202. I'm a little under the weather. I got all kind of things going on. So I haven't been live. Nevertheless, I wanted to talk about this. I know you guys are going to want to talk about other stuff because I usually talk about sports. I talk about a lot of things, but I'll get to the sports a little later because sports are good. Sports are, they're getting more interesting. Nonetheless, let's get to mandatory testing. Mandatory, testing these women out to see if they're telling lies, see if the baby's ours, to see if we have to pay that child support, to see what the court system is going to do. Listen, there's been some cases where the magistrate knows damn well that the child does not belong to a man and says, hey, somebody's got to pay for this child, so it's going to be you. And we know that child support does not all go to the child. We know that the father can't go to the mother, hand the mother over $20,000 for child support, plus being in arrears and cover everything, and he just pay it right out of pocket without going through child support. We know child support will come and say, hey, you just gave her a gift. You still owe $20,000 plus in arrears. You have it right now or go to jail. We know this. And that's if the child's his. We know this. We know that they do this. Why? Because there's a huge savings account that they have. I mean, it's huge. And they're getting it all from working men. And it goes towards their pensions and whatnot. That's what the whole deal is. But here's the thing. You see, the government has been using women. They always have and they always will. The government uses the family. And this is not just a particular race. Because black men, we have this thing about black women using the government against us. But the truth is, it happens to every nationality in America. The Hispanics are going through it. The Caucasians are going through it. The Asians are going through it. Anybody who's going through the court system, gets married, has children, and or anybody who goes and with their girlfriend to the hospital and signs on a piece of paper, and or anybody who takes a woman to the hospital and they want to know who you are, who brought this woman to the hospital, and or any man who lives close to a woman that has a baby that you never even touched her, she goes to the hospital and she says your name, and or any man that this woman knows. And she says, Schleppy Sudan is the father of this child. Where does he live? He lives at 555-555-5555, Jason's Lyric Avenue in Wetumpka. And they look up that address and they look up Schleppy Sudan and finds out that Schleppy really does live there. They get a hold of Schleppy's information. They put his name on there. And guess what? That goes straight to court. Schleppy doesn't know this woman. Has nothing to do with this woman. He's never even met this woman, let alone put a seed in her. But she knows the real baby father and knows he's no damn good. Yeah. She knows that the baby father will never come see this child. She knew that from the beginning. And bam, Sleppy Sudan gets a letter from the court. And here's the real kick in the ass. Sleppy could actually be in jail. So guess what happens when Sleppy gets this letter? Sleppy's in jail for 6 months on a DUI. He has no idea. He went to a party one day, came out, him and his friends. He was driving. He ran a stop sign. Cops saw him, boom, tested him, said your blood alcohol level's too high, you're going to jail. Put him in jail, boom, he gets out, boom, Sleppy does it again. Runs another stop sign, boom, they give him 6 months. Boom, Sleppy gets the letter. Comes to him a month while he's in jail. That letter goes unanswered. After 30 days and a court appearance was on the letter, Sleppy doesn't show up for the court appearance. Guess what? A bench warrant is issued for Sleppy, but not only that, Sleppy is now fully responsible for 18 years of this child who he never helped conceive. How do I know this? Is because it's actually happened to a man who just happened to be black. He was doing time. A letter came to his house. He couldn't answer the letter because he wasn't there. When he got out, he found out that he was responsible for a child that he never conceived. He never even met the mother. He had nothing to do with this woman. He goes to court to defend himself. He shows that he was in jail at the time and he has nothing to do with this woman. And the female magistrate still says it is incumbent upon you because you did not answer this letter. He was like, Your Honor, I was in jail. I could not answer this letter. She's like, it doesn't matter. Boom. It's your responsibility now. Why would the magistrate go so hard? It's because that money goes into their pockets at the end of the day. When they retire, they get paid out these funds that comes from child support. That's why the child support system is so cruel. But listen, whenever the so-called man, quote, makes a law and the law is working for him until it hurts him, the man will change that law. Women have used this system to the point where someone, somewhere, who is a lawmaker and in a position of power got hurt from it. And when more and more of them start getting hurt from it, when it starts hitting their doorsteps, when it starts affecting their children, guess what they're going to do? They're going to change that law. That's the way it goes. Women need to wake up. You do not run this world at all. Not whatsoever. Women, you had voters control because there's more of you than there is of anyone else. But you did not have it at the presidential level like you thought you did. You thought you were the one who put Obama into his seat. You were not. Because you found that out very quickly when President Trump ran and beat Hillary Clinton. You voted for Hillary. Hillary beat Donald Trump by 3 million votes. Donald Trump was the president and will probably be president again. Donald Trump is probably going to be president while he's sitting in jail. And nobody's going to bat an eye. The majority doesn't pick the president. So the power that you women thought you had as far as voting was all a lie on the presidential level. Women, you thought you had power over men when it came to children. And you did to some extent. You only had that power as long as it didn't affect certain men. But when it came knocking on their door, that power is now gone. Why? Because men control legislation. That's it, and that's all. Men make the rules. This nonsense about who runs the world, girls, is 100% a lie. This power that you women think you have is nothing but a feminist fallacy. And now you're finding it out because there is mandatory swappage. There's a law that's just been put in place. It's mandatory that you have a paternity test. Meaning as soon as you go into that hospital with whoever that brings you there, whether it's the husband, boyfriend, neighbor, some random dude that just happened to help a pregnant woman who's having a child on the sidewalk and had mercy on the woman and the child, as soon as you go in there, you have that baby. That baby comes out. The police that are always in hospitals are going to be on watch, always. The nurses are going to say, hey, we need to do a mouth swab. If you make the claim that whatever male brought you there is the father. They're going to say, do you know who the father is? If the father is waiting out in the hall and he's the real father, you ain't got no problem. But here's the thing. Even if that is the real father and he claims he's the father, he's willing to sign the birth certificate 100%. You two been married for 10 years. This is my husband. This is my, I've never been an infidel. He has never been an infidel. We don't do this. We love the Lord Jesus Christ, the Savior of all. They're still going to give you a paternity test. And it's going to turn out that he's the father, you're the mother, boom, bam, beams of ham. Here's the thing now. The baby you leave with might not even be your baby because hospitals be mixing up babies. Now that's scary as hell. That's scary, isn't it? But nonetheless, so and that's the good scenario when it's your husband, this is your child, boom, you guys leave, you're a happy unit. The worst case scenario, random guy sees a woman suffering on the bus, asking what's wrong. She's like, I'm having my baby. Or not even on the bus, just I don't know, an Uber driver. Woman gets in the car, she's like, I'm having my baby, take me to the hospital. He punches it. His little, four banger is, getting you there. He gets you to the hospital. Drives you right up to the emergency. They get you out, your water breaks, boom, they put you in the chair, run you to the hospital, bang. You know, kid enters into this world, screaming. All is fine and well, right? Kid's healthy, mother's healthy, she lives. No preeclampsia, none of that stuff. Just beautiful. Do you know who the father is? Let me see. What was the name of that Uber driver? It was Sadori Ekman. That's what his name was, because you looked it up, because you was like, Sadori Ekman will pick you up. So you look at your phone, Sadori Ekman. If there is a Sadori Ekman, I'm sorry, I just made that name up. They go, boom, put his name on the, and they start to look him up. He's responsible. But now you can't do that anymore. You can't go, yeah, Sadori did it. We need to swap Sadori. He left. He's gone. He went on his next trip, plus he had to clean his car. Sadori's not coming in. And even if they do get a hold of him and they swap him, he's going to be like, this is not my baby. They're going to know 100% that this foreigner is not the baby of this African-American child. They're going to know because they're going to get swapped. Here's the worst condition. If this woman said Sadori is the child's father and Sadori was paying for the last 12 years and arguing the whole 12 years, this is not my child. But the magistrate said you're going to pay anyway. So Sadori's got a, Sadori Jr. out there that he can't even see. He's got a son out there that's not his, but he can't see the son. He's nothing to do with him. But this is supposed to be his son. But the mother's collecting $1,200 a month. And you're like, that's not a big deal. It is to an Uber driver. 100%. It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal to an Uber driver. So he's paying it, he's pissed off, but he's paying it for the last 12 years. Now this law comes into play. Guess what Sadori's going to do? He's going to appeal what the magistrate did. He's going to get swapped. He's going to go to a hospital or to a clinic because the new magistrate is going to demand that you, the female, the child, and the father get swapped. And she's going to have to do it because it's going to be court ordered. If she doesn't do it, she's going to get a warrant. She's going to get arrested. Her ass is going to jail. She's going to get fined a whole lot of bread. So she does it reluctantly. When they find out Sadori is not the father of little Sadori, she has to pay all of that back to him. All the money has to go back to him. She has to pay for it, and She could be also fined by the court, and she could also see jail time. Now, this isn't a new concept, and it isn't in every state. Okay, so let's look at the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement had every woman thinking that, oh, we got men now. Oh, we got your ass. You look at us wrong, you're creepy. Women in the gyms wearing coochie cutters. If you look at my puss, oh, you're creepy. They wear the tightest gear in the gym so you can see what they had for breakfast. If you look at my ass, you're creepy. Well, women are looking at your ass. Are they creepy? And now women can't get help in the gym because men are sick of it. But this is all the Me Too movement. They went after every high executive. They got everyone fired. They got people fired for stuff that they did 30 years ago. They didn't even know they did it. They were like, what are you talking about? Matt Lauer's gone. He's gone. Because he wrote a letter or it said something and complimented a woman. I even fell victim to some of this. I told a woman at work she was pretty. I was dating her friend. Her friend was right there. The other woman was right there. And she introduced me. She, yeah, this is who I work with. And both of them are good looking women. I was like, oh, your friend's pretty. She went and told somebody that came back to me, yeah, you shouldn't have said that to her. I was like, oh okay. I'm sorry. I wasn't hitting on her. You can't say a woman's pretty. What happens in the Me Too movement? What happened? The open door policy that men had, the executives, oh, that's no more. You just can't walk in a man's office and shut the door. No. Even Vice President Pence said he will have no meeting alone with no woman. His wife or someone will always be with him. What happened to all the activities the executives used to do? All the baseball games and stuff like that? All of that's cut out. The consultants, what about them? No man has any consultants alone with a woman. They don't do it anymore. And women are hurting because of this, because sometimes these interviews and consultant sessions are so you can move up in rank in your job. So if you don't go through these sessions, you can't move up in rank. So what is it doing? It's stopping women's earning potential. This is what you did. This is what you did. But like I said, men make the laws. And whenever one of those laws start hurting the men who made them, they change the law. Now what's the Me Too movement doing? How's it serving women? It's hurting them. It's hurting women now. Women are finding themselves alone on every aspect. Men don't want to hire women. This is the knee-jerk reaction. Men don't want to hire women. Women don't work as hard as men. They don't stay as long. They only do what they're supposed to do. They don't put in the extra effort. They just don't. They take more breaks. They have more sick days. They have more excuses. They just don't work as hard as men, and they don't do some of the work that's required. The harder the job gets, the less women want to do it. Mandatory. Women, you're in trouble. You just don't know it yet. Well, some of you do. Some of you do. And what's going to happen is America gave you a leash. And they set you out on that leash. and you went running, and now you're going to choke on it because you're at the end of that leash. You went running full steam, trying to get out that gate, forgetting that there was a leash. And at the other end of that leash is a man. And they're going to snap all of you back to reality. That they make the laws. All of this hitting men and spitting on men and shooting men and all this other abusive stuff you think you can do, all of that's coming to a screeching halt. All of this going to work and cursing out men and being loud, all of that's coming to a screeching halt. You will have no place to work. Men don't have to hit you just to beat you. All we have to do is ignore you. We have to treat you like you're not there. We don't have to hire you. We don't have to listen to you yell. We can just walk away. And if you strike us, then it's fair game. There's no more hitting us and then you walk away happy. There's you strike us, it's fair combat. There's no more pulling a gun and just shooting at us like the lady did from the library. Guy picked up something, he threw it at the lady, she drew her gun and shot him 9 times. Or she shot at him 9 times. One of the bullets went through a police car. Mind you, she wasn't a cop. She was a guard at a library. She shot the man 7 times. He's still living. She's in prison. We gave you Me Too because some men were doing things wrong. Some women needed to be heard, but you women abused it. And you figured, well, if she can be heard, then I can be heard. But what happened to you? Nothing. All these cases where something happened to you when you were young, we found out that none of it's true. And now the court systems are looking at you and going, well, none of this actually happened to you, but you put a man in jail. Guess what's going to happen to you? You're going to jail for lying and fraud. Let me give you a case. There was a young man who was in high school. He was going to be a football star, NFL star. He was going to get drafted from high school to the NFL. A girl that he liked, and she liked him, was kind of like flirting with each other. They liked each other. It's pretty much established, he was going to be something. So she was like, yeah, okay. Well, they got on an elevator one day and he kissed her. And she kissed him back. Well, she went home and told her mother that the boy kissed her, and then they filed a claim against him. Said that he R-ed her. Turns out that he did, and he never had intercourse with her. But he kissed her, and it was like he did it forcefully. So what happened to him? They sentenced him to 10 years. They actually sentenced him to more than that, but after 10 years, the girl, who's a woman now, said it was all a lie. Then he got out. He's like, I'm still going to try for the NFL, but it was pretty much too late. But here's the thing. She got $1.5 million. Now that the new laws are coming in, what do you think is going to happen in this case? That young man can fight her and have her charged with all kind of things and put her in jail and her mother. Anyways, nobody's here, so I'm gonna go ahead and go. But once again, women are in big trouble because the laws are changing and they're going to protect men. And you women don't like when men are protected. But I love it. I love it because the world needs men. You women aren't building any infrastructure. I saw a lady electrician on the internet and I was excited. I was like, yes. Saw another lady who was a appliance tech. I was like, absolutely. We need more engineers that are females. We need more construction workers who are actually going to do some, climbing some of them buildings and putting some of them beams up. Yeah, get into that. But not enough of you are going to do it. So you need the men to do it. But we can't do anything if we're being put in jail. If we're being put in jail and we have nothing to do with anything, we don't even know what happened. Police are knocking on our door and we're just by ourselves, minding our damn business. But some random woman says that we did something in a whole nother state across the country. We have no idea who this person is. But nonetheless, we have to prove that we're innocent. We have to prove 100% that we're innocent all the time. This takes our money. This takes all of our resources, takes our time. We have to hire lawyers. And when it's all said and done, the woman goes, well, I lied. Well, there's no more getting away with lying on men anymore, ladies. There's no more of that. You lie on a man and said he did something that he didn't, you are now responsible. And this same thing happens in other countries. You can't do it. Welcome to America.